Hello. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Good to see all of you in the chat. I know it's just words, but I feel like it's smiling, happy faces coming back at me. Welcome to all the members as well who've joined the channel. Thank you so much for that support. Everybody else, welcome. I'm Natalie. This is Scientology Life After a Cult, where I recap the Scientology news that has the internet buzzing and share about my 35 years in Scientology with 3 generations of my family and that we left. I also do interviews from time to time. So when you do hit that subscribe button, make sure you set that notification bell too, because I jump on at different times during the day to do interviews with people in the community, people live streaming, protesting, ex-Scientologists, ex-Sea Org members, all to help give a better understanding of why Scientology is a human trafficking cult and how they do it. So welcome. Thank you so much to my mods this morning. Nancy is here. My Tony is here. We are going to be rocking and rolling because we have got some fun stuff to talk about today and some things that might make your skin crawl, but we are going to do it anyways. We're going to be going over a little bit of an update on the Danny Masterson Scientology Civil Rico suit. That is a tongue twister. Civil Rico lawsuit. We're going to touch on... We're going to share some clips that are really hitting home. Not that you guys, most of you who follow the channel or anything in SPTV know the devastation of disconnection, but we're going to take a look at that from another way. We're going to look at some of the protests in Hollywood. There were a couple kind of funny things that happened. We're going to get an update on one of the protesters who's reached out to the ACLU. We are going to pop into Clearwater and Chicago and Boston and Portland and Austin, and we are going to talk about all of it. So if you guys are ready, let's get going here. Let's get started with let's see. Do I want to start there? You know, I figured this out ahead of time and then I'm like, you know what? But let's do it. I want to get talking about the update with the Danny Masterson Scientology Civil Rico lawsuit. Tongue twister, but I got it there. Aaron over at Growing Up in Scientology just does the best breakdown of these. So we're going to take a little look at what he had to say about it, kind of summarize it up a little. And there is a link down below to that video so you can see it in full. He's got some links on his channel too to look at the full paperwork. So if you're the type that loves to dig in to those legal documents and check it all out, that will be there for you too over on his channel, which I've linked to. And let me know your thoughts on it. Jump into the live chat. If you're watching this on the replay, I want to hear from you in the comments. Where are you watching from? What do you think? What do you think about this update we're about to actually take a look at? So let's take a look at that. I love how Aaron does his summaries of this. Check it out.
And, you know, for anyone who's not totally familiar with this, RICO stands for, I've got web pages open in front of me here, Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. And the RICO Act is a United States federal law that provides for extended criminal penalties and a civil cause of action for acts performed as part of an ongoing criminal organization.
Now, I'm glad he went over that because I don't know about you guys. I didn't even really understand what RICO was. You hear about it, you know, in the movies. You hear about it as it relates sometimes to gangsters. But yeah, I'm glad he laid that out.
And that's why it's so noteworthy that complaints are being added to this lawsuit treating Scientology as a criminal organization. The definition of racketeering is dishonest and fraudulent business dealings. Okay, so here's some of the language. Scientology's criminal enterprises, criminal conduct. Corporate defendants and defendant David Miscavige and their agents routinely use false pretenses to convince foreign workers to travel to the United States and cause those workers to file fraudulent visa applications in violation of 18 United States Code sections 1341, 1343, and 1351. Once the foreign workers arrive in the U.S., corporate defendants and David Miscavige and their agents take their passports, visas, and other travel and identifying documents and force them to labor for Scientology's benefit, often against their will, in violation of state laws against kidnapping and extortion.
You know, we talk about this so much, I think, not just often when protesting or just in general, where we're talking about how Scientology, how the human trafficking comes to be, what it's like, what happens, what that looks like. And I think sometimes we don't talk enough about the ways that Sea Org members and Scientologists don't see it that way. They see it very differently. If they saw it that way, they would be appalled by it. And they are when they do, when they leave, when they wake up, when the blinders come off. And sometimes you just got to hear it over and over and over again for it to kind of get through. It was that way for me. Even after I left Scientology, I didn't fully understand the gravity of these things. I didn't fully understand about human trafficking and why Scientology is a human trafficking cult and the different ways that people can be trafficked. I didn't know I was a trafficking victim. I mean, it sounds kind of not funny, but you know what I'm saying. You guys know what I'm saying. It sounds very odd now, but it really speaks to, and I hope that that helps to bring you some understanding when you see Scientologists and you're wondering, like, why do they stay? One, because the threats to lose their family, their livelihood, their connections is huge, but also the abusive practices within Scientology are not seen as abusive by the majority of the members because it has been so normalized. Of course, this is how it's supposed to be. L. Ron Hubbard wouldn't lead us astray. L. Ron Hubbard wouldn't perpetuate abuses. That is the thought process. So keep that in mind as we go through today, because I think you're going to kind of see that as a theme. I am so glad that he broke it down that way. Now, yesterday, I had the pleasure of sitting down with BLOWDRILL with Dylan Gill. It's the second time I've had him on the channel and just have the most amazing conversations with him. I told him, I'm like, you have to do more videos because his insight, the way he communicates, his gentle demeanor is just made for it. And he brought up a couple of things in regards to the Sea Org and the way that Sea Org members are dehumanized, and just one way that that is done in the Sea Organization. So let's take a look at what Dylan had to say. I links down below to all the videos, including this one, so you can see the full interview with him, because he just brings it. He just brings it in a way that is so insightful. I just appreciate the way he communicates.
In the Sea Org, you weren't you. You didn't look at yourself as Dylan.
Yeah.
You looked at yourself as your post title.
Yes.
Wherever you were, like that, you were the COPE officer, or you were. So it's funny, like when we talk about all this stuff now, like when I think about it, I think of myself as a COPE, like as that job title, as that instant hat, or that fully hatted, or missionaire, or like I didn't, you don't identify as yourself doing a job. You identify as you're the vessel for that job. So it's just
very true. That's a really good point. That's a great point, Dylan. And you're totally right. And that's often what people were called. You know, you would be addressed as, hey, cope off, get over here. Or
exactly.
What? Yeah. Job type.
So
you know, not addressing people as individuals. This is one of the ways in the Sea Organization that your individuality is stripped away. You're referred to as a job title, and you start to learn. This is so fascinating for me, because even though I've been out of Scientology for 13 going on 14 years now, I still continue to strip away some of that cult mentality and see things for what they really are. And I never thought about it that way, how people are treated in the Sea Organization, where it becomes the norm. It becomes the normal to see yourself as, like, what was that Star Trek episode about the Borg? We assimilate. That's totally what it's like. You just have this hive mind and you tap into that. And if you step out, you're out of pocket in any way, you are quickly programmed again to get back in to that one mentality, to that one way of thinking, and not just not seeing yourself as an individual, not thinking for yourself as an individual. You become conditioned to believe that your worth is what you can bring to the group. So the most important thing is the value and your duty and what you bring to the group in Scientology. That's true even outside of the Sea Organization. It is a thing in Scientology. And it is devious. And it is something that I know often, and myself included, it took me a long time to recognize that I have value beyond what I can produce or do for other people. I value myself. I enjoy being with myself. I entertain myself all the time. It's just so interesting how that ends up happening. And the beautiful thing is seeing that fall away. Seeing that fall away from people as they recognize, myself included through the process, that we are individuals and it is okay. It is okay to believe differently. It is okay to think differently. It is okay to see things differently. Just blows my mind, but I just love the job that he did. We're going to take a look now at a video from Liz Ferris, Lara FM, Oh No Nora, and Mandy was on as well. And they were talking about how Scientologists don't see certain aspects of Scientology as abusive, kind of like what we're talking about. Let's give this a little look and a listen.
Anyway, so every step of Scientology is actually abusive, so much to the point that their norm, like we keep saying, is actually a point where they would be like, we don't do that. How dare you make out blatant lies? But if you are in an abusive situation or abusive relationship and you leave that, you step back, you go, oh my God, I can't believe I was allowing that to happen. Which is the exact same thing Scientology is. Scientology's technology, L. Ron Hubbard put this all together to manipulate people mentally and put them under the control of how they wanted a group to be able to take over the government and everything. And
so true. That is exactly it. So true. It can't happen without that. When you think about cults, and I think that it's, cults are cults are cults. They kind of all go by the same playbook. And I often talk about how L. Ron Hubbard just put his own stink on his playbook for how to have this cult and how to control people. But that is such a big part of it. And the realization I had recently was this is not limited to Scientology. This is something that if you're in a high control group or an abusive situation, one of those common denominators is you're made to feel less than, like you have no value. It's all about what you can do for that person or for that group. And there is nothing wrong with being of value to somebody or an organization and being a contributing member of that, as long as it's a two-way street, right? It is good to do good things to help people. But when you're manipulated in the way that Scientology does and in the Sea organization, that desire to help, that desire to belong is manipulated into meaning something else. You can help and belong if you are one of, not as an individual. It's total BS that we as individuals cannot make a difference, that one voice can't create change. That is a lie. And that is a heavy narrative, not just in Scientology, but other cults as well. So I just find the whole thing super interesting. And I love the video they did and the conversation they had. I also really loved, literally Serge did a video where he calls out the media on not covering Scientology abuses. And he puts it in a way that only literally Serge can. Let's take a little look and a listen at that.
Kids who could not consent to be part of the indefensible power dynamics that play out between adults and underage kids who are forced to endure unspeakable trauma. They choose to regurgitate sanitized narratives, conveniently sidestepping the true horrors faced by innocent children being kept in bondage and enslaved. Okay. So put that on your notes. Pathetic media, mainstream media that you are. Put that on your notes. Legal departments of the media that can figure out what in the hell's going on in those hotels. Put it on your MF notes.
Put it on your notes. I love that. Absolutely love that. That's right. Hashtag power surge. Oh, that's so great. I've not seen that before. Yep. Love them too. Absolutely. Jill Anderson, what are you saying? LRH refused to accept the divinity of Pele. He did? And for those that don't know, Pele is the goddess of fire in Hawaii. He did? I did not know that. And how dare he? As a Hawaiian, I am not down with him not accepting that. That's interesting though, because I had not heard that. I had not heard that. You have to tell me more about that. Natalie at lifeafteraccult.com. And by the way, thank you to everybody who emails me. When you see something, you say something. Send me a clip, send me a video with a timestamp, tell me what I'm looking at. It helps so much for me to put all of this together, because the beautiful thing is there is so much content out there right now, and more being created and more new people coming onto the scene and protesting and getting the word out, that I just need help collecting it all. So appreciate all of you who do email me at natalie@lifeafteroccult.com and do that. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate the stories too. I've heard from so many people, just not just how following with this whole SPTV community has helped you, but your thoughts and how you see things on all of this too. There's so much value in that for me, because I love seeing it from that other point of view. That's why I love when people love seeing content as well created by people never in Scientology. And for example, there's a clip from a Relatable Reese, who's here on YouTube, was on Better Call Daddy, and shares a bit, really kind of, again, talks about this, how Scientology isolates its members, and you end up in this insulated world of Scientologists and this echo chamber, which contributes to that feeling of you are not an individual. You don't have individuality. And that's so ironic, because those are the things that Scientology claims to do in large part, is to better you as an individual. It's ridiculous. But let's take a little look at her interview. It was great.
And your whole life, your dentist is a Scientologist. Your person who comes in, your plumber. I mean, you only associate with Scientologists. So they put that fear there. And if you are outed, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? You're going to lose your whole family, because they disconnect. They apply a disconnection policy. So if you're outed, you lose everything. And that's a state of fear in and of itself. That's why I never would have talked, Rena. I never would have spoken out, because as bad as my story is, I would have lost everybody. And I did. Overnight, I lost over 300 people. They were gone. And I'd known them my whole life. Gone. Disappeared, died. I've never talked to them again. They blocked me on every social media platform. It's fast. They bring down the hammer quickly. So it's a fear, right? I mean, I was outed without wanting to be. It was an accident what happened.
It really speaks to, again, that fear that is instilled within Scientologists. Because what Scientology has to do, because they're a cult, is if there is dissent, if there are doubts, they need to cut it out. They need to cut it out. So when you leave, you're cut out from that. That's what disconnection is about. It's about cutting out what they see as a cancer to stop it from growing, because they don't want those seeds planted with the rest of the members, because they are shrinking, and they have been, and they're so desperate. And I have a feeling, this is my speculation, that we're going to see more and more of some extreme disconnection, not like it hasn't already been happening. But trust me when I tell you, it's going to backfire on them. That works only for so long. But so many Scientologists who have left and found, even when they've been disconnected from, there is still heartbreak, especially if it's your family. But that sense of freedom, that sense of recovering your individuality, that sense of being able to live life on your terms and create a new life has more value. And you can create that. And hopefully, I think we all hope that the people that we lost by leaving Scientology will wake up themselves. And I know I leave the door open for people who've disconnected from me to reconnect anytime that they want to, because I don't practice disconnection. So I'm down with that. Totally. Anyways, it was a great interview. Link down below if you want to go ahead and watch the whole thing. I also sat down and chatted with Jeff from PTS for Life. And you guys know I'm a fan of his channel. I love sharing clips. I know you guys are too, because I get sent so many of them. He has been protesting in Vancouver. He's been at Seattle, Portland. And I had him on and we were talking about what happened recently, where he had an incident with a vehicle in outside Vancouver that banged into him. And he shared something interesting about the driver that he had not shared yet. And I just thought it was really interesting what he brought up. So let's take a look at that. Hold on. That is the whole video, not the clip. Hold on just a sec. I'm going to grab it. Jeff put it in only the way that he can sometimes. All right, here we go. And you can see the full interview with him, which is great because he shares about some events coming up that he wants to get a ton of protesters at. And I think that that's going to happen in Canada. In fact, if you go over on his channel, he's got this awesome video he did about this event coming up in April. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's crazy how little Scientologists there are in this area and the large event space that they reserved. And I think just to make sure nobody else can do that, because that's one thing that Jeff tried to do was, well, maybe I could rent a room in there, right? And we could have a place for the protesters. No, cannot. So let's take a look at this. And again, this is Jeff sharing something interesting about the guy who banged into him with the truck. Check it out.
This is something I don't think I've shared yet. Chris Jung, when I was on staff, was kind of not disaffected, but he was off lines.
Ooh.
So he wasn't involved in Scientology much. And he used to work downtown at a pharmacy / convenient photo shop and stuff like that. It's called London Drugs. And I used to actually go to his workplace during his shift and try and recover him. So I am partially responsible for my own accident here because I got Chris back on lines, which, you know, it's kind of funny. And now I'm out there protesting him. But
now you're on the other side. In the time that you've been gone from Scientology, has anybody come out to try to handle you in the way that you attempted to handle him and bring him back into the fold?
So they were at first when I left in like 2012, but I was so disaffected that I just basically told them to go F themselves. And
but isn't that interesting? Jeff, actually, the guy who was driving the truck that hit Jeff got him back into Scientology. He had left Scientology before. And it really goes to show that Scientologists on their best day, who are dedicated, who want to recover other Scientologists, they're not incapable of leaving. They're not incapable of changing their mind, and they're not incapable of seeing the truth about Scientology. And I say that as someone who had 3 generations of her family in Scientology and went through the same thing. So I just, it's just so interesting to me. And I think that's why it's important to understand the mindset of Scientologists, because most of them do not know that they're in a cult, nor do they see the abusive behaviors being abusive, because it's how it's always been. And they're often given lies, what Scientology calls a sure story or an acceptable truth about a situation, about many situations that relate to Scientology, to keep people in that mindset and locked in there. You see it all the time. And it's neat to hear people talk about it when they leave and recognize that, and that, okay. And the more we can understand the reasons why, not just why we stayed, but what helped open our eyes to leave, I think the more we can help people and raise awareness. And I feel that when we're raising awareness about Scientology and how it's a cult, how the mind control works, and we are exposing those things, it's going to help people in other cults or high control groups, because they might look at that and go, you know what? Wait a minute. I experienced that. Could I possibly be in a cult? That is my hope. It really is. That is completely my hope. Okay, so Stream of Justiceness, they put together these kind of fun music videos and remixes. Really not music videos. I guess they're more remixes. They did the Poop Tech one that I'm absolutely in love with, and my grandson Oliver loves it. We're just waiting for the call from his school to explain why he's running around singing about Poop Tech and what is that all about. Waiting on that. But Stream of Justiceness did another one with Aaron from Growing Up in Scientology on what was this one called? It's like No Money. They all don't have any money, but check this out. We're just going to look at a little bit of it. No more money. That's what it is. No more money.
David Miscavige done messed up. David Miscavige isn't trying to clear the plate. It's now a real estate scam. Bank loan fraud, credit card fraud, mortgage fraud, never-ending fundraising. Power of cult thought control. Clear the planet. Crush Scientology. the plan. Crush Scientology. Money.
It's a little dark, but I still like it. I'm just really, I'm liking what that person is doing. I think it's a lot of fun. It's another way to kind of consume a message, which again, people hear things differently, and the different types of creators on SPTV, the different messages, the different personalities, the different genres, any way to get the word out that Scientology is a human trafficking cult, raise awareness about it. I am all for it. And I love the creative ways that people come up with to do that. Now, I know that I've gotten a lot of emails about having the protesters contact the ACLU in California during the protest, but Mindy Willens gives an update about that, and we're going to take a look at that because I know that it's been a concern. So let's take a little look and a listen. This is Mindy Willens.
Updates. So I've been getting a lot of messages from people saying that it's really important for me to reach out to the ACLU. And I just want you to know, I heard you. I'm on it. I've been in touch with Audit in LA, who, disclaimer, she is not a lawyer. That was for her because she made a point to let me know several times during our conversation. But she's extremely intelligent and way more knowledgeable than me. And she's been giving me a second set of eyes. And as I craft some messages to send on the behalf of some of the protesters whose permission I did receive. So just letting you know that update. Your advice and your suggestions are essential, and they don't go unnoticed. And wish us luck. I'll send you an update and let you know if anybody hears back from them. Some fingers.
That's great. I look forward to hearing another update on that, and I bet all of you do as well. I agree. She's beautiful. She's so cute. So cute. Afila, okay, can I call it Natalie is the new Oprah? There you go, I called it. Okay, you want to hear something funny? When I was doing, I don't think I did it during the stream. I think it was afterwards. I was chatting with William Good after we did his interview last week. And I said, I told him, I said, well, I'm pretty much Timu Oprah. So thank you for the full Oprah. I was just happy to be Timu Oprah. He thought that was funny. Okay, let's take a look. Let's go over to L. Ron Hubbard Way. We got a little clip from DOA, Defender of Ant, Scotty, doing his thing on L. Ron Hubbard Way, I do believe in the morning. Was this in the morning? It was. It was in the early morning. Let's pull that up. His batteries were running low on the bullhorn, but you know, Scotty, he punts. He worked around it. Check it out.
Yeah, well, I came by yesterday. Wanted to give him a good sending off. Can't you see what this? Trafficking humans early. Traffic humans early. Get that human trafficking in. Human trafficker. Human trafficking. This is what human trafficking looks like. This is what human trafficking looks like. It's so if you have to ask to leave, then you're not free. If you have to ask to leave, you are not free. If you have to ask to leave, you are not free.
I love that. That is so impactful. It even struck a chord with me. It was, if you have to ask to leave, you're not free. That's so true. And I feel like that's a statement that would make people think. It made me think. And I often, when I hear these things, because a question I get a lot is, what are some things we could say to Scientologists when we're protesting that might help or make an impact? And my point of view is, I have my thoughts on it, that what would make an impact on me. And I'm always like, hey, one, don't break any laws. Secondly, it's what resonates with you. And for me, saying that, I think that's a great one. If you have to ask to leave, you're not free. Because every Scientologist, if you're on course even, right, you're a member, you're not even a staff member or a C organization member. If you want to miss course that day, you have to ask permission. There's an expectation as a Scientologist that you're going to be at every propaganda event. Towards the end of my Scientology career, I was written up for not going to one of the Scientology events because I went out to dinner with my husband at the time instead, and was actually written up for that. And I remember it because the staff member who called me, her name's Karen Wessling, and she works in the Office of Special Affairs now in the Sea Organization, if she's still there. She calls me up about it and she's like, "Oh, I noticed, you and your husband weren't there. Were you not feeling well? Like, what's going on?" And I straight up told her, "Oh, we went out to dinner. We just wanted to spend some time together. It's been really busy." And when my daughter Shelby was trying to leave Florida, where she was on training in Florida at the Flag Land Base to train as a staff member here in the Twin Cities, when we were trying to get her out of there, one of the last things before she left, she was given like a whole list of things that were wrong with her mother and grandmother. So myself and my mom. And one of them was this report that I had the audacity to go to dinner with my husband instead of showing up at a Scientology event. This is how far they take it. And I look back at it now and I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to also go look at the opposite end of L. Ron Hubbard Way because Confident Chris decided, hey, you know what? Maybe L. Ron Hubbard deserves a star. Maybe not on Hollywood Boulevard, but maybe on L. Ron Hubbard Way. So not only was he doing that, but he had an interesting interaction with a kid who was showing up to the Los Angeles organization, and it looks like they locked the front door. I mean, let's talk about that for just a second. This organization you see here, this is the Church of Scientology, right? The front door is locked. It looks like it's locked and they're screening people as they come in. How do you even do that? The only person out there that I'm aware of was Confident Chris. So are they keeping the door locked all the time? We're seeing this at other places too. I saw it in Chicago when we were there. What do they think we're going to do? What any protesters going to do? They're not going to go walk in. I mean, I don't think they would. I would say that most don't. I just think locking the door is just bizarre. But anyways, Chris was out there, Confident Chris, doing his thing. Take a look. You can hear the kid saying, like, I'm here too. And it's something about his dad and a computer. So he's speaking through some type of intercom, and I'm assuming there's a camera there.
So like this.
I don't know what happened to the kid or if he got in, but here's the star.
This is a good angle right here. And another one right here. My star is gone. Sir, just so you know, Scientology traffics children and adults. If you didn't know, please look it up. People's lives are ruined in there. This is my job.
I love that. The guy's like, get a job. And Chris is like, this is my job. I just love that. This is my job. That's so great. I love the fun, but Confident Chris, if you're watching, we need more mini streets content. More mini street shorts, please, please. I'd love it so much. And they did wash his star off. Yeah, right. This is my job. Technically, it's my job too. I just have so much fun doing it that it doesn't seem like work. I always say I would do this for $5 and a Happy Meal. Okay, so let's take a look now. Let's go over to Chicago where tag team blind tech is in action. These days, people, there are records that are getting hard to beat. And Windy City Thetan Watch has a pretty good record. Carrie Ann in Portland, but there's another one we're going to share later in Austin where did it get beat or not? I'm not sure. We're going to take a look, but let's take a look at this in Chicago. Tag team blind tech.
See if we can get them, if we can enable the blind tech. Yep. I'm displaying to them. Oh, you can see it in the reflection, right? Helping them get out. Oh, look at this. In force. The troops are bringing down the blinds. So, as we can tell, the best disinfectant for Scientology is sunlight, and they just can't tolerate the sunlight. They need to operate in the shadows. As we came in this morning, so right, it's just after opening, so the publics are allowed in right now. I don't think you'll be able to see the sign because of the way that this door is closed right now.
I just love that. I love that live streamers and protesters are still out there in Chicago, making it happen, showing them what's happening, just like Lori Plays over in Clearwater. I love watching Lori because she breaks into song, for one, and I love her well wishes. I love how she does it. I cannot wait to meet her in person. My Tony and I are going to be heading to Clearwater next month and going to be able to meet Lori and surrounded by Scientology. We're so excited to meet George and everybody spit Clearwater. Aaron, of course. I don't think I've ever met Aaron in person, even when what's interesting is our paths may have crossed because when he was at the Advanced Organization of Los Angeles, I think I was there as a public person, as a member during services, but I would have been in the confidential course room and he was in a different one. But yeah, might have walked by each other, but definitely did not formally meet. But Lori Plays was in Clearwater, seeing off the space travelers. Seems like they're switching up their bus tech too. For a while, they were only using the mini buses. Now, the big buses seem to be back out. But let's take a look at what Lori was seeing in Clearwater.
Hey, can the bus tech see us? I'm inching around the tree. What you gonna do now?
I love that she's behind the tree trying to be very, very quiet.
Are we gonna break some more bus tech? Uh-oh, what to do? Considering my next course of action because my first one doesn't look like a go. Oh, maybe. Safe journey, happy space traveler! Safe journey! He's all by himself. Maybe he was going to get the people who are going to get on that bus, but can't. I'm so happy that I broke your bus. I'm so happy that I shut it down.
See, just beautiful. Just beautiful. I don't think safe travels, happy space travelers will ever get old for me. You guys tell me in the comments, tell me in the live chat. It is one of my favorite things personally to watch and see when she does that. Safe travels, happy space travelers. I think because it's so different, right? It just brings kind of that balance, I feel, toward when we're protesting and needing to bring up and say things that have an ick factor because they're uncomfortable to hear because they should be. That's what protesting is. It's about making things uncomfortable. At the same time, Lori has these amazing conversations often with Scientologists who will speak to her. And she points these things out in a way that's also got that flip side of it where it's pleasant and entertaining to watch, but you're also really seeing like, wow, that's right. She's making a good point. Why can't they just walk down the sidewalk? Why can't they just talk to people if they want to? Why are they whisked away, the Scientologists? Why can't they just go where they want with the bus? Because they don't want Sea Organization members being videotaped, because their families will see all of these missing people who they've not seen from their lives in ages. And you know what? They might just do something about it. And the people who are there, who are trapped, who might feel like, gosh, I haven't talked to my family in 5, 10, 15 years, might think that maybe they don't care anymore. Maybe they disconnected from their family and aren't sure if they would take them back. And they need to know that there are people, your family's out there, and there are families who care about you. And if you don't have that, you will. There are so many people in the ex-Scientology community who are going to help to support you. There's the Aftermath Foundation. There's a new foundation that's starting up. that Aaron at Growing Up in Scientology is doing that's going to be able to help more people leave Scientology and heal from it. Surrounded by Scientology. Thank you so much for that, George. We're so excited that you guys get to come here and thaw out from Minnesota to Florida, just like when you first arrived frozen in an ice cube and we're dropped in the volcano. Can we make some fun plans? Absolutely, George. Absolutely. Nothing too late at night, though, because we're not late night people. Not like you, George. Real party animal. I'm just joking. But yeah, that would be fun. And you're right. That's so funny. And for those that don't know, that's part of the Xenu story, that Xenu, the galactic overlord, took people, aliens, people on other planets, and froze them in ice cubes, giant ice cubes, and then dropped them into volcanoes on Earth and blew them up with hydrogen bombs. And then the souls and the spirits of those people became what we call body thetans in Scientology, and they attached to humans. And per Scientology, that's what causes all of your problems. It's them body thetans. Don't worry about it. It wasn't me. It was the body thetan. Body thetan made me do it. I don't think that can be a defense. Of course, you find out different things as you go higher up the bridge to total freedom. But that pretty much is the main story there. But I love what you guys are doing in Florida and Clearwater, George. I love when you get out and you show those contrast videos. Here's dead downtown Clearwater, and here's a happening place nearby. It really is. It's just hurting the city of Clearwater, especially the downtown. And yeah, hopefully it wakes up. And more people should be able to go to Clearwater that aren't Scientologists to enjoy it and support the businesses that are there. All right, we're going to take a little look at Boston. This is interesting because this is someone who went into a business next to Scientology. Actually, I think it's downstairs. I think Boston Scientology is on the upper level, to kind of be like, hey, do you know your neighbors? Do you see them? Like, what's up? What's up with that? What's their deal? And we just got a snippet of this. Links down below so you can see all these videos in full and support these awesome creators and protesters who are out there doing it. Check it out.
The people normally that work in like their actual building, they're part of the Sea organization, and they sign a billion-year contract for the, I know you don't know, but this is true info. Do you know the people that you have seen? Do they wear regular clothes, or do they wear like dress clothes, like a tight vest, black and silver vest, or from you could remember, just regular people, right?
I love how he calls it out as a tight vest. You know, they wear a tight vest because they do. Let's be honest. We've seen the vest, and I don't know who is fitting them for their clothes or uniforms, but often it is too tight. It looks uncomfortable.
Okay, so they're probably public Scientologists. Okay. All right, no worries. I appreciate it. Thank you. So again, I'm sorry. I know it's weird, but it is something big. If you guys look it up, you'll see it.
I see people start coming and kick the sign. They kick it.
No, like I said, if you look, like I said, I don't want you guys to like hate them because they're going to be nice to you because they're next door. But like I said, this one is so small. Like the buildings, like if you look it up in LA, they have nice buildings. They have a building that's worth $30 million, and they bought it cash because they're tax exempt. Like I said, last year they made over $1 billion in donations. So because the
crazy. At one part, I don't know if it was that clip or I heard this when I was watching the whole thing. The gentleman that's there says that he sees people go by and kick the Scientology sign all the time, which I get it because Scientology is a cult. It's just funny. If I kicked a sign, I feel like I would hurt my foot more. But point being, it's just not accepted. People know, word is getting out that they are a dangerous cult. So I thought that was interesting. Get to know your neighbors. Now, Portland, Rica, I think is how it's pronounced, was out doing some protesting and live streaming outside the Portland organization and met a young man who had gone in because all are welcome. And of course, what did he find out? All are not welcome.
They give you a little tour around there? No, they didn't let you in. I thought all were welcome though. Damn. I thought for sure they would at least let you see the bookstore or something. Oh. Gotcha. Well, I'm glad you're safe and outside of there now. I hope you didn't give them any of your money. Good. Yes, they will stalk you for life.
ago, and they're still sending me mail, and I moved twice.
You guys are so polite. It's a cult, guys. It's a cult.
Wow, 20 years later, moved twice, and they're still sending her mail. Doesn't that sound just like Scientology? If you go and you watch that full video, this guy says that they wanted him to sign something. And I'm so curious, what was it? What was it? What did they want him to sign? Are they having people come in who just see a video sign something? I don't know. Corsets and Curls, Tori Magoo wants you to interview her. I called her yesterday. Somebody tell Tori to check her voicemail. I have texted her. I have called her. I have emailed her. I'm getting ready to just ask LARA FM to go over there and just set it up. I'm dying to talk to Tori. I will try her again today. I definitely will, because that's going to be a fantastic interview. Now, let's take a look. Let's hop over to Austin, where Ms. Scorp AZ in Austin activates door tech and shade tech at the same time. I know this is exciting stuff here. I don't know in what timeline that it was. Oh, hey, DOA. Hang, because I got a question for you if you can answer it. But yeah, in Austin, always interesting to see. Let's take a look at this. Door tech and shade tech at the same time.
No door tech, no shade tech going on. Free personality test. You want to take a free personality test? Oh, no, you're good. Go ahead. We got shade tech going. Look, they put down the shades when we show up. It's a cult. Don't do it. Oh, wow. Look at that. They got double shade tech at the same time. Well, that's all right. We'll get outside.
I think it would be so fun if somebody did a little montage video of all this shade tech that happens, and maybe even with the times noted, because based on the video clips that I receive and messages from people, it is a little bit of a competition to see how quickly you can get Scientology to close those blinds. How fast are they on the draw of shade tech when you show up? I could have sworn, and I don't think I have do I have a clip of that? But so I thought somebody said 28 seconds the other day. I don't totally recall, but it is something to keep an eye on. I think it's an interesting part of all of this, that it's so stimulus response on the part of Scientology. Protester shows up, bring down the blinds, shut the door, even if it does not shut all the way, activate shade tech. Because you know they're told what to do. So we might start seeing more of that. What I want to know is what's up with the locked front doors, though. That is something we just talked about. Los Angeles organization, one of their main front doors being locked. We saw the St. Louis organization front door not just locked, but chained. That's just weird. It's so weird. Talk about drawing attention to yourself for all the wrong reasons. Lock the door and put a giant chain all around it. That's not weird. That doesn't look like you're keeping people in there. That doesn't look like you're trying to stop people from getting out. No. Anyways, Miss Scorp AZ had a great sign. We just saw a clip of her video from Austin, and she's out there, and I wanted to share this with you guys as well so you can take a look at this. It says kids cannot consent. Check it out.
How old are you? Are you of age? Are you at least 18 in there? You know, they can't force you. Kids cannot consent. They cannot consent to auditing. They cannot consent to being in a hotel room with an adult with their pants unzipped. Kids cannot consent. Sir, I hope you don't have your kids in Scientology. Keep your grandkids away from it. It's a cult. That's right. Kids
I love that message, and it is one that I'm glad is being repeated, because it is something that, let me tell you, as a Scientologist, you don't think about. You don't think about, because there are no children. Children are big beings, spiritual beings who have lived countless lives in small bodies. And having that message, that reminder that, hey, kids actually can't consent. Kids can't consent. They're doing this. They can't make their own decision and choice to do it or have it done to them. And it's not recognized in the Scientology community, the damage that's actually being done when you do some of these things with children, specifically, in my mind, the training routines, where you sit across from another person and you comfortably stare at each other, face each other comfortably, and then you do bull baiting, where you can say anything you want to that child or adult. It's done no matter how old you are in Scientology. If you find a button that they react to, whether they cry, laugh, get mad, whatever it is, you have to say it to them over and over and over again until there is no longer a reaction. That creates children who don't have boundaries, healthy boundaries, but what they do have is a high tolerance of BS, a high tolerance of abuse. I know, because that is how I grew up. And guess what? I have a high tolerance of BS. The difference today is I can spot it and recognize it and use my ability to confront and shatter suppression to actually do it on Scientology. Liberty, hip hip hooray. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Thank you. Thank you. Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? DOA, Scotty, if you're there, I threw a link. If you can join, I put a link in the chat. I will put it there again, but if you can join, jump on. I just wanted to ask you a few questions about stuff that's going on. So do that if you can. Otherwise, we got another video to look at. And we talked yesterday about how worlds are colliding in the best ways. Pearl Snappy met Jay from Denver Scientology audit. Pearl Snappy, they came together, but Jay was out there protesting Scientology in Austin. Loved seeing him there. I love that they met. Love so much about this. But check it out. Doors wide open. We don't see that often in Austin. And here is what happened.
Hi there. How long have you been a part of the high control group? Do you mind coming and chatting with me? Guys, if y'all are in there, it's a cult. Do some critical research on the organization and do some research for yourself so you're able to understand and have information based off of knowledge, not feeling.
Love that. What Jay's saying. Don't love that there's a child there. And of course, what did they do? They just took them to the back. And it has to be somebody who's new, because, you know, the way she waves and stuff, a Scientologist and longtime Scientologist would not be doing that. So we're going to have a really quick chat here, because I know he's probably getting ready. Hey, DOA. Hey, Scotty, how are you?
Hello.
Good to see you. So can you fill us in a little bit about what is happening today?
I have court for the restraining order from Francois, from the owner of La Poubelle. And I'm actually going to be sitting across the table from Jazine Epstein's lawyer.
That's right.
I don't mean to get into any conspiracies or rabbit holes or anything.
No, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Tell the people.
She just happened to represent somebody who was trafficking children and to an island of, yeah. So if that doesn't bring up some red flags that's who her lawyer is, it's pretty insane.
That is insane. And it just says a lot. Just when you look at this and you look at Koster's involvement with having the location where Masterson drugged one of his victims, and the way that she showed up to court every day, all these days, to support him. And then when he was found guilty and sentenced to prison, she writes that letter saying, hey, but you know what? He's good to dogs. And then to find out her lawyer was the same lawyer defending that Maxwell chick who was involved with Jeffrey Epstein, and she was trafficking children. It's just, tell me in the chat, in the comments, are you guys blown away by this too? Did you guys know this? I just found out the other day. So what's the game plan? What are we wearing to court?
I got a suit. I haven't worn a suit in over 10 years.
Ooh.
I spent a lot of money on one yesterday. I figured I might as well look the part here. If I'm going up with the Hollywood conspiracy elite, I might as well try to dress the part.
Yeah.
So I'm a little nervous. I'm not facing any jail time or any fines, but I'm still nervous going into court. It's just I can't wait for it to be over.
Yeah. And you know, just if I could say anything, I think know when you're there that there are so many people, and I know you know this, that support you and are cheering you on, both you and Will as well, Streets LA, who will have somebody representing him there as well on the same issue, right?
Yes, he's getting a continuance, I guess. And they didn't serve him. They're supposed to serve the papers within 5 days of the court hearing. They did it on Saturday night. Today's Tuesday. So it wasn't a proper service of the restraining order. Mine was.
Yours was. So you're going ahead and going in there.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask for a continuance for counsel.
So
And
that you
I'm
can
not 100% sure if I'm going to get counsel or not, but I'm gonna see what my options are. There's so many crazy claims in the restraining order that it'd be pretty hard not to win the restraining order. And the fact that the temporary one was denied says a lot. So I have a little collection of all the times I've been attacked out front there. She specifically said that I pushed patrons into the street, and that's actually the exact opposite of what has happened. So we'll see. The restraining orders are kind of quasi-judicial, I guess they say it in the legal field, meaning that you don't have as many rights as you would for a normal criminal charges. You do have a right to counsel, but sometimes they'll bull rush you through the court system. You don't have a right to a jury or any of that, which is that means that the judge is going to make all the decisions. So depending on if the judge is good or not, it's hard to say if if there will be justice or not on this. And if she's asking for 100-yard restraining order from her place of business, her car, and her work or her home. So, and she's alleged that I doxed her twice. I don't even know what I doxed. I didn't dox anybody. I don't put out anyone's addresses, or I don't do any of that stuff. So,
yeah. People are saying they can't wait to see the suit, and you're going to need to post pics and some video, which I'm assuming you will do.
I want to do a little live here. I don't know how to tie a tie.
You know, Mike Tony could walk you through it if you guys have the video. He used to have a high-end men's clothing store, European fabrics. He could probably tie a tie with his eyes closed.
I sold a bunch of ties on eBay, but I don't know how to tie one myself. I'm a little too feral, I guess.
I don't know how to tie a tie, but I really haven't worn one. Yeah,
right,
you got a lot of well wishes.
I'm gonna go right now though because I'm super nervous and I gotta put this all together. So
all right, well, we're thinking about you. I'm gonna look for the video and stuff. I know that you'll kick butt, so we'll talk to you later.
Much love. Thanks for being who you are.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
That'll be interesting to see what happens today. So interesting. And thank you guys for all the well wishes. I hope that he sees those there and feels that. And I agree. We're all going to be there in spirit. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cheering him on. I love that he got a suit though, too. I'm sure he'll get a lot of use with that too. Absolutely. Astroflux, I can tie my shoes. That's it. Go DOA. I love that. I wanted to bring up here, let's see, Karen McCourt, thank you so much for becoming a member. Hip, hip, hooray. I'm not sure if I acknowledged you or not. So if I did twice, hey, bonus. Let's see here. Aaron was asking, this is a great question. Is your main thetan just one of the body thetans that become your main one, or do they come from somewhere different? So in Scientology, you are the thetan. You don't have a thetan. You're a thetan that has a body. You exist in or within your body. And body thetans are the spirits who came from other planets, thrown into the volcano by Xenu, who then attach to you. But once they are freed, this is where it's not very clear. Apparently, they can be free to go get bodies and be people and become Scientologists. That is the goal and the hope. And I think in part when Scientologists talk about clearing the planet, those on the upper levels of Scientology see themselves as doing their part by freeing these body thetans who can then go pick up bodies, right? Pop into a baby, reincarnation, and then become Scientologists. That is part of it. It's not the sole purpose, but it's totally a thing and a way that they see it, which is just interesting and bizarre all at the same time. David Christie, have you seen the new Paris org that's going to open up in April? I've not. I think, you know what? I think I did see a couple photos quickly about it, but that is coming up, and I'm glad you brought that up. I do believe it's in early April. I don't have the exact dates remembered. If somebody does, can you post in the chat when the opening is for the Paris organization? And if you're catching this on the replay, go ahead and share that in the comments as well. Because I know that, they were supposed to open ages ago, just like Chicago, right? And that just got done. So it's interesting that it's done after L. Ron Hubbard's birthday event. But this propaganda of the opening of the Paris organization will be used at the next big Scientology propaganda event, which is the anniversary of Dianetics, which is May 9th. May 9th is the anniversary. The event itself will be some other time. Ellie, no, don't end. I still have more coffee. We got a little bit. I have my coffee too, actually. I need to get to that. Nancy says, my body thetans eat too much. I wish that in Scientology, I would have just gotten in so much trouble for this. I just wish that I could have said, oh, my body thetans made me do it. Or, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know if anyone's ever tried that in Scientology. You could get away with it in an auditing session, but only if you've done the operating thetan level 3, where you validly know about the body thetans. You could get away with doing that in session. I mean, they would probably run some processes on you that might not be fun to get you straightened out. But it would be fun. It would be fun and funny to do that. You'd be in trouble pretty darn quick. Yep, Susan Jacobson, no excuse for kids. The body thetans made me do it. Can you imagine if you got parents in Scientology and you just say as a kid, like, body thetans made me do it. I know about them because I did Scientology in a past life and I did the upper levels. You could say that depending on your age. Age has to, you got to get the math to work out. Amy's asking, have you heard of life repairs in Scientology? Yes. Life repair auditing generally is done for people new to Scientology. And my understanding of it is it's customized to fit that person. You're trying to resolve some issue in their life. But yes, life repair auditing is primarily done as an introductory service into Scientology. One of the newer, at the lower levels, you would do that. Regulator, why I smoke? ? Because my cells like it. L. Ron Hubbard, PDC 1952. Okay, so the PDC lectures are the Philadelphia Doctorate. It's from the Philadelphia Doctorate course, which L. Ron Hubbard delivered in the early 50s. And all of those lectures he did were taken and turned into lectures in this whole CD. Used to be cassettes, used to be reel to reel, but now they're these CDs. That's interesting that that's where that comes from, because we've talked before about how L. Ron Hubbard has said, oh, smoking's not going to give you cancer. Not smoking enough will, because, science. But interesting that comes from there. I always wondered where that came from. And Susan, you make a good point. Needs Paris to open before the Olympics. 100%. They're not far from where a lot of that action is going to be going down. So yeah, they're going to be all over it. I can't wait to see that the way Scientology is going to shoot themselves in the foot when they go out there and try and recruit people during the Olympics. Hopefully they get they're not let in. We'll have to see. Have to find out what's happening. Amy, that's right. Your cells like it until they mutate to cancer. Exactly. That was one of the things in Scientology that always made me nutty. Like how, that just makes no sense what L. Ron Hubbard said, what his viewpoint was about smoking. And it's why you see so many Scientologists who are still smoking when we know better today. Mag and Moo, does it seem like the number of protesters in LA is dwindling? Confident Chris wouldn't have been out there alone a month ago. I don't know. I would say no, because there are new ones almost every day who are starting up channels, who are getting out there. You might just not see as many as the original ones. And it is good to take a break from this. They should take a break from it. Some of them have been through hell. LA Cam has been in jail. Confident Chris, Confident Chris, what happened to him? But Chris without a Hellcat. He had it, just things that happened to his vehicle. He was swatted by the police. It's a lot. And so, yeah, but I feel, we've got Dan Walks LA. There's just so many newer ones, people who are coming up and lending their voice and their time to protest Scientology, not just in Hollywood, but around the country. We're definitely seeing that grow. And you guys see it here all the time because we share recaps of these protests as well and can see the new people when I'm introduced to a new channel. I love that. I love seeing the different personalities and how it's evolving and how people are starting to find too what works with protesting to raise awareness, whether it's a certain phrase or a certain sign. I love the originality and I love the creativity. But yes, GM Flower, more and more protesters, rock on. And that is a hope by doing this and sharing about it, that they find each other and people decide, as you're seeing, right? We've got grandmas protesting Scientology. That is, I'll be honest, not just because probably because I am a grandma. I love that because it really goes to show we have people protesting Scientology of all ages, right? People from so many different backgrounds. It's a beautiful thing, and seeing them come together and work together on it, to learn from each other, to have each other's backs. It's just a great thing. I love seeing it. And Abuse of Liberty is saying he wasn't alone. Ant was there. That's true. Sometimes we don't see people that are there, or don't see, we just see snippets of something. And just because we don't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Danny Mack, Scientologists are victims of alien abduction. Yeah, in a weird way, it could be seen that way. I totally get that. Oh, David, exciting. Going to Texas to see the eclipse. Hope to see Pearl Snappy in Austin when I go through it. Interesting. That's right. That eclipse is coming out, it's going to be happening, and you can only see it, I believe, in certain parts of the country. If anybody else is going to do that, I would love to hear about it. Natalie@lifeafteroccult.com. Remember, see something, say something. Send me clips, send me links, send me timestamps. Okay, and Selena is sharing that LA Cam has some issues on his family, with his family going on, left a notice on his channel saying he would be back as soon as he could. And again, people should take breaks from this. The individual's well-being and mental health needs to come first. And they're the only ones who can advocate for themselves and make sure that they're being taken care of and doing what they need to do. And I respect that, even if it means walking away. Because we're not Scientology. We want individual people to be happy and whole and to be doing well. Lori Play says, it is very draining. I did 4 nights in a row when I usually do 3 times a week. Now I've got the flu or something. Take a break when you need it, y'all. Yes, very, very good point. Mama's life. Hey, Mama. Yes, grandmas unite. I completely feel that way. I love that. That's right. Amy Hollywood Aja is out there still. She's out there too. Spitology is out there. LARA FM, DOA. Of course, William, Scientology Audit Streets LA. Jessica Palmades is still out there. They're all doing great work. Aja's channel is, I do believe it's Hollywood Aja. You could search it and probably find her. If someone knows it, could you put it in the comments or put it in the chat here? She's got a great channel. Acupunk. Okay. It'll be crazy for the eclipse. That's exciting that it's there and you'll be able to see it. Interesting. My Tony says, Laurie Place, take care of yourself. Rest. Do, because we're coming to see you next month. So you got to be well and ready to go. And I want to get out there and send well wishes to the happy space travelers. But I hope you feel better soon, Laurie. Take care of yourself, truly. Hollywood Aja, by the way, is primarily on TikTok. She does have a YouTube channel, but most of her stuff is put, I believe, on TikTok. Oh, Capital Call Out is saying La Poubelle is closed on Sunday and Monday. That's right. So no one would really be out there then. That is true. See, you guys just know it. The chat knows all. I just love that. Like when the billboard got taken down, the chat really helped figure that out. You guys are fantastic. That is great. All right, everybody. Keep those links, keep those clips, keep them all coming. I so appreciate everybody who emails me, Natalie@lifeafteroccult.com. I can't always get back on all the emails, but know how much I appreciate you and your help matters. You're making a difference. Thank you for being here. Hit that like button on your way out and please subscribe to the channel. I really would appreciate that support. You guys know what to do. Get out there and just have the most amazing cult-free day.